Okay, we are ready to start the next step here, number 6. And this is where we start learning more about the iMovie program. Um, so we're going to start with a title at the beginning. This information here has to do with like the style of the title that we want to use, what we want the text to say. This has to do with formatting. This is the name of the font size. We want it bold. This is the color. And then the length of the title will be listed in there as well. Okay. And so this is kind of just going to be in all your little sections there. And that's how you actually read it. So we want to start back here in iMovie, and this is where you are. Okay. We've got our folder made. We got all our pictures in here. But we are actually going to start with a title. So up here, you see these tabs up here. We want to click on the one called Titles. Okay, when you click on the titles, you will see different styles of titles. There's enough there that you can scroll down, and they all have different kinds of names to them. And what we want to do is use the one in the directions. It says to use the one called slide. So that just happens to be this first one right here. All right. And if you hover over it, you can kind of do a little what it's called a scrub back and forth. And you can actually see it's kind of animated and it kind of drops or slides, you could say. So if this is the title that you want to use, you just click on it and drag it down here to the main track of your editing area. Okay. When you bring it down here, it tells you it's 4 seconds long. Title text here matches what is over here. Okay. And so this is a graphical representation of the text. Now, in the directions, so it says we use the style called slide. The text is going to say the word vehicles. So in order to do that, you come over here and you just double click on all the text and you type the word vehicles. And it went in all capital letters because the style came in all capital letters. Okay. And so that's how you put the text in here. Now, eventually, I believe this changes. But if you go back then, the next thing you want to do is format it with a font called Georgia, size 400. You want it bold, and then you want to make it white in color. So to do that, you're over here in this window, and you just select across, highlight across the text. This is the name of the font. If you hit the drop down here, all the different names of fonts, they go in alphabetical order. The one you want is called Georgia, and you just click it and it'll convert it over to that style. The size that you want to use is 212, which is really an interesting size, but where it says auto here are all the different sizes of the fonts, and there it is, 212. So it made it a little bit bigger. This is the alignment of the text. Unless the directions tell you, you can just leave it centered. This is where the B is for bolding the text. I is for italics. O is for outline. So the only one we want is bold. And then this is the color of your text. And in this case, we want it to be white. If you don't like anything that you ever pick, you can click this reset button and it'll take you back. It'll take all the formatting off and it'll let you go back and make some changes. But that is what we actually want it to say. Okay. And so again, when you look at the directions, that is what the font is all about. And the last thing is the length of the title needs to be 5 seconds. So you'll notice that the length of this title is 4 seconds. Okay. So if I click down here on this blue purple bar here, you can see when I come to the edge, I get this 2-headed arrow. See that? I just hover right over that yellow line that is the edge of that title. And if I need to make that 5 seconds, I'm going to pull it out farther to the right and I can read that number. See, that's 4:08 and it just kind of keeps going. And it also shows you back on the left that what time it is. But you just keep going till that reads 5 seconds. Now, there it is, 5 seconds. Now, when you start to get to the end of the window here, you actually have to scroll more. But one thing you might want to do, and you can kind of play around with this setting button. This is kind of like zooming in and zooming out. And you can set that to be whatever you want because then you can easily see more of the main track down here when you build it. Okay. This right here is called your playhead. You can click on it and drag it left and you can drag it right. Okay. And you can now see that we actually have a title that says vehicles that is 5 seconds long. And if you put your playhead, and again, you can drag it with the hand, or you can, like, if your playhead's way down here and you want to go back to the beginning, you can just click and then you can come up here to the window. Oops, looks like we lost our text. We'll have to go back and do that. And you can see that it actually then plays it. So let's go back again. I don't know why it didn't go, but we wanted to say vehicles. We want it to be Georgia. We want it to be size 212, bold, and we're going to leave it white. Let's see if we can get that to stay. What happens if we click over here? If we click over here, if we play it, there we go. Play it and it looks good. So now if I click over here and I hit play, there it goes. It says vehicles. You can also do something called scrubbing. You can just kind of take the playhead and move it back and forth on your own, and you can watch what actually happens when you do that. That's just called that's a scrubbing technique. Now, you'll notice, I'm just going to drop my playhead, that these two numbers here, they represent the time of your project. The 01 means that your playhead is at 1 second in the project, and this is read as 5 seconds, and your project is 5 seconds long. So your playhead is listed at 1, but the project is 5. All right, if you go back and look at the directions, that is how you do that step there that you see. Okay, and so with that, we have that step completed. Okay, the next step here says that we need to insert a background onto the main track. The style of the background is called industrial, and we want to make that background 3 seconds long. So when you go back to iMovie, up here at the top, here's where it says backgrounds. And these are just different styles of backgrounds. If you hover kind of over them and go left and right, some of them, like this one called underwater, has movement. The curtain one moves like a curtain when you move back and forth across it. We're looking for one called industrial. That's this one right here. So when you click on it, it's got these little steel looking, you can see the preview over here. You got that over, yeah. Okay, so we're going to take it and just drag it down in here, and we just put it on the main track directly behind your title that says vehicles. And there will be a little gap between it. That's what happens. See, when I try to push it left, it won't go there. And again, if you want, you can change your, like, how much you actually see on the track. It's not adjusting the length of it at all. So now if you go back up here and look, my playhead is at 2 seconds and my project is 9 seconds long because I put another background with it. Now this background needs to be 3 seconds long. So I come down here to the edge and I get that two-headed arrow and I start to back that off until that reads 3 seconds. Now my project is 8 seconds long. And again, you can pause this video whenever you want in order to complete this step. But step number 7 is now complete. Okay. Step number 8, we want to place a title above the background that we just created called industrial. We want to use a style called chromatic. The text is going to be the word cars. The font will be chalk duster size 400, bold, and a color of yellow. And then the length will be 3 seconds long. So what we're going to actually do then is come back here to iMovie and find where we have a title at. So we come up back up here to this tab, and this is the one that you have read in the directions called chromatic, and you're going to click on it. That turns the little box yellow. Okay, you're going to click and drag it. This time it's going to go above. See where I'm placing it? I'm putting it above my background. I know that's different than this one. Okay, and the title, and you can go back and read the directions. The title that goes with this right here, chromatic, is going to just say cars. Okay, it's just going to say cars. So back to iMovie where it says title text here, you type cars. I'm going to just do Command A to select that. The font that we are using is called Chalk Duster, and so you should be able to find that in the list. Auto is the size, and we want 400, which isn't there. So then in this box, you just double click on auto, you type 400, push the tab key, and then it will make it the size that you want it. We'll leave it on center, we're going to bold it, and we have to make it a color called yellow. So this little box here is your font color. When you click on it, you're going to get something like this up. Now, you might actually get like a wheel like this of colors. These are different ways that you can pick your colors. So I like to go over here to the color box. Now, when you look at these, you just kind of look at them and go, oh, look at that. That one's called aluminum. This one is called licorice. So it's really black. This one is cayenne. It's kind of a dark red. This one is called maraschino. That's kind of a lighter red, maybe a little orangish. This is called salmon. So we need yellow. So you kind of look at the colors and go, what looks like yellow? Oh, here's one, lemon or banana. Either one of those are kind of yellow looking. So you can pick whichever one you want. And that will make your text then be the color that it's supposed to be. And then when you click on this title down here, you have to shorten it up so that it's 3 seconds long. Okay. And so now I just clicked on this background, and now my word cars shows up. Now we're done with this color box. So I'm just going to close that color box up. Okay. And the program will automatically save for you. You don't have to do any saving. And so when you look back here, we just completed step number 8. Okay. And again, you can pause the video and go back and fix anything that you want. Moving on to step number 9, we're going to insert 5 car pictures. That'll be the next thing on that main track. And you need to make each picture 6 seconds long. Okay. So back here in iMovie, you have your title and a title that says cars. Okay. To get to your pictures that you want to put in here, you got to go back to My Media. Okay. And now you make sure your folder over here called Vehicle Pictures is selected. And you look for your car pictures, and you should have 5 of them. And it doesn't matter what order you put them in. So if I click on this red car, I can take it and drag it down to my main track and put it directly behind. And again, I can't, if I try to touch it next to the other thing, it'll just position it a little bit of a distance away. And it brought it in at a length of 4 seconds. Okay. It brought it in a length of 4 seconds. And so you need to make that 6 seconds long. So you come to the end and you keep reading your little timeline there until you get 6.00. So now that picture is 6 seconds long. Okay. Now you'll notice back up here, there's now an orange bar underneath the picture of that car. See, there's no orange bar under anything else. The orange bar tells you that you've put the picture down on the track. And don't worry why it like zooms in and out. We'll figure that out later. But that tells you that you've used that picture. So now you need to find another picture of a car. And like I said, it doesn't matter which one, but this time I want you to try something else. If you click on a picture of a car, you'll notice there's a plus sign in the bottom. And that means you want to add the selection to the movie. So if I just click the plus sign, automatically adds the car to the back or to where it should go next in the movie. And again, you might have to keep changing your zoom. And so again, it brought it in at 4 seconds. Directions require it to be 6 seconds long. So you start changing that until you get to 6.0 seconds. And as soon as you kind of let up on the computer, iMovie will automatically save it. And now you'll notice orange line under that, meaning you put it in the project. So how you bring the picture down here doesn't matter. You can click on it and drag it down, or once you click on it, you'll see the plus in the corner, and you click on the plus and it'll add it to the track. So now you add your third picture, and again, pause the video if you need to, and then you make that one 6 seconds long. Then you add your fourth picture to the project, and you make that 6 seconds long. And then you add your last picture of a car, just cars, to the project. And you make that one 6 seconds long. So right now, if you look at my timeline up here, my playhead right here is at 36 seconds in the movie. My entire movie is 38 seconds long. And if I want to change my zoom, so like if I click on this settings and I start dragging it to the left, I can now see everything that I did in my project. Like the time doesn't change. This is still 6 seconds, 6 seconds. This is 3, this is 5. It just gives you more space to spread things out. And you can actually set that wherever you want to. If I click here, my playhead is now at 17 seconds. And so that's how you read those two numbers. And now your main track here should look very similar to something that I have. And if you look at the steps here, that should get us done with step number 9. And again, you can pause the video and then you can work on your project, and then you can come back and rewind it and continue from there.